Hey guys, welcome to another episode of No Code Engineer. And today I'll show you how to build a drop-down menu for your website. Well, before getting started, I should tell you that there are a lot of different ways to make the drop-down menu, and I'll explain you the first method to build a drop-down menu, and this method I am not going to use today. I'll explain you why I do not like this method. You could build a drop-down menu inside the header. You go to the header of your reusable elements, and then you could create a drop-down menu right here. But if you create a drop-down menu inside the header, you'll have to expand the group size of your header. You'll have to make it much bigger. It will depend on the size of your header. Your header could have profile, your header could have properties, settings, a lot of options. It could have a lot of different things. And to occupy that header, that drop-down menu, you'll have to increase the group size of this header. Now remember that you have to stick this header on every page of your website, and on every page it's going to occupy this size in the beginning of the page. So any input box or buttons on this part of the web page is not going to work, because header has to be on the topmost level of all the groups, So header, anything behind this header is not going to work. The input boxes and buttons especially. Of course, you can see the pictures or the text boxes if you make this header transparent, but input boxes or buttons are still not going to work. So you will have to start making your input boxes and buttons, your search boxes, etc. from here. You will never be able to occupy this space. And that's why I do not like to use this huge amount of space for a header and a drop-down menu. That's why I'll show you a different way to create a header, to create a drop-down menu which will occupy the least amount of space as possible. So let's get started and build a drop-down menu. Click on Add a new reusable element. We're gonna make a drop-down menu a reusable element. Click on Create. I think this size is actually good for a drop-down menu. Maybe a bit shorter would be, a bit less wider would be nicer. Yeah, this looks much better. And we can have some partitions for different things. We can have a shape. I'm gonna copy and paste it here. I really like this feature in Bubble that it aligns itself with the shape on the top, or with anything on the top. It's a really good feature that Bubble has. Really good design feature. To click on this, copy and paste it, and bring it down here. And probably we'll need one more, and we can bring it down right here. So what we could have in our drop down, the first thing we could have is a profile button. So for the profile button, we're just gonna make a text box, and we're gonna make the text box clickable. We're gonna name it profile. We're gonna copy and paste it right here. Name it, let's say if you're making a real estate website, it could be my properties. If you uploaded some properties, you could click on this and see your uploaded properties. Copy and paste it. This could be your settings, and the last one could be the logout option. Log out. Actually, we don't need this last shape, so I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna reduce the size of the group of the drop down menu. This looks much better. Alright, and we have that, and let's give life to this. I'm not gonna link these pages right now because of course I'm gonna make another video showing how to link the text boxes to other pages. Right now I'm just gonna use the logout option. Let's give life to this button. Since this is a clickable element, we have to go to start edit workflow. When logout is clicked, we have to log the user out. Here, go to account, log the user out, and then we have to send the user to a certain page. I'll send the user to the index page. Alright, we have made our drop down menu. We have given life to the logout option here. Now let's go back to the index page. Now let's name it home page. I think I deleted it before. That's right, home page. This is our home page. Click on the empty options, reveal the customizable styles, center it. Alright, now let's take our header here. Okay, our header is a floating group, remember, and let's check again if the header is if the drop down menu is also a floating group. No, it's not, and we have to make it a floating group, otherwise it won't work. Because the header is a floating group, is always going to be at the top, and if the drop down menu is not a floating group, it will stay at one position even if the header moves down, you know. So we have to make the header and the drop down menu both the same kind of elements. Because the header is a floating group, the drop down menu is also gonna be a floating group. Let's go back to index here. Let's also put the drop down menu right here. Let's make it fixed width element. Now this element is visible on page load. No, it should not be visible on page load. But before that, let's bring it to the top, bring it to front, and not visible on page load. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to add a floating group, a small floating group here, which will have the buttons which you can click to reveal the drop down menu. And this floating group, let's first add the icon. Well, this icon is not good. Maybe something down. I think this is better. Now let's customize it a bit. Empty style options. Gonna make it none. Gonna make it none too. Alright, it disappeared. Let's say, okay, there we go. Now let's reduce the size of this element and let's put it on this floating group. The floating group has the icon down, and remember that the floating group should only be visible when the current user is logged in. When the current user is logged in, this element is visible. When current user is not logged in, isn't logged in, this element is not visible. Actually, we have to do the same with the login and sign up, but we'll do that later. First, let's give life to this icon here. Click on it. Since this is gonna be a clickable element, go to start edit workflow. When icon is clicked and only when the drop down menu is not visible. So what's happening here is when this icon is clicked and when drop down menu is not visible, we will show the drop down menu. And then we'll do the same when it is visible. Start edit workflow. Let's copy and paste this. And when drop down menu is visible, when icon is clicked and the drop down menu is visible, you're gonna hide it now, because those are the two functions of a button, of an icon. You have to show the drop down menu and then you have to hide it, but you will only hide it once you see it. So that's why we have this additional condition here. When this is clicked and only when it is visible, you have to hide the menu. So we have two functions, we have two commands for the icon. Now let's go back to the login, to the header here, and I have put the login and sign up buttons inside a group here. Double click on this group, define another condition. I will say that when the current user is logged in, this element is not visible. Uncheck this box. When current user isn't logged in, this is going to be visible, because the only purpose of these two buttons is to help the user get logged in. Once it is logged in, this should not be visible. So we did that right there. Our index page looks good. We have the button here. Let's bring it to the top, to the front. Let's check it once again if it's a floating group. It is a floating group. And where's the drop down menu? Alright, all this looks good. Let's make this element a fixed width. And now we have to do the same thing on page 2. Let's go to page 2. We already have the header there. And let's take the floating group from here. Let's copy it and paste it on the header here on page 2. Here, when you go to conditionals, you can see that the conditions are already there. Current user is logged in, is visible. It's not logged in, it's not visible. But for the icon here, we have to do the workflow for it again. Before we do that, we have to stick the drop-down menu on this page 2, because this is a page which is visible only to the people who have logged in. Make this a fixed width, element not visible on page load. First, before that, bring it to front and not visible on page load. Now add the functionalities for this icon here. This workflow is for page 2. When icon is clicked, only when drop down menu is not visible. You have to show the drop down menu. Let's copy and paste it here. We can say that when drop down menu A is visible, you don't have to show it because it's already visible. Now you have to hide it. To hide the drop down menu. Alright, I think we are done with making all the functions. Here we are on page 2 here. Let's go back to index page and test it. Click on preview. Alright, as you can see, the icon is not visible, even the drop down menu is not visible. Now let's sign up now. Click on sign up. Nice, we are signed into the account. This doesn't look good. Let's go back to the index page 2. Let's change the I think this is fixed, but yes, we have to uncheck this box. Now it will look better. Nice. This looks much better. Once you click on this, the drop-down menu is visible now. So you click on this again, it's not visible now. This is how we make the drop-down menu, guys. Let's try to log out. Nice, we're logged out of the page now. Now that's how you do the drop-down menu and the logout feature. Thank you for watching and see you soon, guys. Bye bye, take care, see you soon.